I don't know how I look in the video because I'm feeling quite short today. How do I look at the video? I want you to no. Okay. All right, that's gonna be the first lesson. The music fades out. You don't just turn the music off. So I just want to see how I look in the video because I'm using a different chair today because we're moving, and this is the last chair left, and I'm sitting very low. I am particularly
we all
short.
Look a little bit short.
Okay,
today.
so we can move the cameras a bit in order to. Carson Weekly is in charge of producing today, but Griffin's still here. This is all stuff that you have to do as a producer, right? You have to see how we look in the video, and if you think we look a little off, then you got to move the cameras, make sure we get things like set in the video. So these are all responsibilities of the producer. All right, how do we look in the video?
You look great. Me and Carson look like we're both in the
right. You're trying
chairs,
to share. You're trying
to share. So
okay, so you've got a camera right there. Can you adjust the camera in order to make? These are the things you got to do. Like you can't wait for somebody to approve you doing it. You just got to do it in order. That's better. Yeah. Okay. All right, there we go. Good morning, Glenn Clark Radio. Carson Weekly's here, learning how to produce just in time for us to be off for 2 weeks and him to forget everything that he learned, which is the way it always goes. Such is life. Griffin is also here today. If you haven't paid attention, or if you just only listen when Carson Weekly's here for some reason, you're an obsessed Carson Weekly fan, this is it. Today, we're doing this show. And then literally as Weekend at Bookies ends today, we're booking it. We are taking everything in this room, we are packing it up, and we are driving over to Towson to set up at our new studio. The problem is, it's going to take a little while for various reasons. One, because we're doing all of it ourselves. Such is life. Small company, that's the way things go. Two, because I'm also calling the Women's Lacrosse World Championships at the same time.
Congrats, by the way.
Sure.
It's a big deal. Big deal.
Sure.
I'm excited for it.
Thanks, buddy. Three, I got a vacation scheduled the week after that.
Also, congrats.
Right.
Where are you going?
We're going on a cruise to the Caribbean where it's going to be 6 billion degrees outside. Nothing like
you earned it.
Being in the center of the earth in the middle of July. God. The sun's just holding a knife. It's like, come on, jerk, walk outside. You ready to go? Oh, I got you. It's going to suck. What's up, man? How are you? Everything good? I love those pants, by the way. Big fan. Happy 4th. We got people out here helping us move, and I appreciate that because I don't want to do all of it. Frankly, I've gotten away with not doing much of it. It's been rather pleasant because of that. What's your name?
My name is Nate.
Nate? Nate, shout out Nate. Shout out Nate, who's working.
Bass player from
the band 209?
The bass player.
You're the bass player. All right, shout out 209. I'm all in, man. Love it. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate you. All right, thank you, buddy. There you go. I appreciate it. All Nate's hard work. Yeah, what was? Oh yeah, so that's the deal. We're gonna be off for the next 2 weeks. It's 10 days worth of shows because we wouldn't have done a show on Monday. It's the 4th of July. So we're trading that off for tomorrow. So 10 days of shows that we won't be doing. Also, the guys from the Bat Around are going to be off for a couple of weeks. So there will be no Bat Around this Saturday or the following Saturday. We're going to get everything situated. And then the plan is they'll be able to return on the 16th and we'll be able to be back on the 18th. Of course, as you know, best laid plans of mice and men. Who the F knows? But the plan, and I believe what's going to come together, is that we'll all be back having a ball in the new studios in the county on the 18th. And I believe tradition says that when your favorite internet radio show moves to the county, you bring us gifts of whiskey and beef jerky. I believe is the way
I didn't know that. I'm excited.
I believe that's the way that it goes. So I'm going to expect that the week of the 18th, you all come, see us in Towson and shower us with whiskey and jerky. I am to understand that is the traditional way to celebrate a move to the county for your favorite internet radio sports program. So that's what's going on. Today's show, got a lot going on. A lot of MLB draft talk today. Jacob Berry, who might very well be the Orioles pick with the number 1 overall pick. In fact, at one point during this process, there were reports that the Orioles were already trying to cut a deal with Jacob Berry. Don't know if that is going to continue to come to fruition or not, but the LSU infielder who has been described as kind of a positionless player, we'll talk to him about that and whether he believes he can play third base, and certainly I'd like to hope he believes he can play first base. But we'll talk about that with Jacob Berry a little bit later on this hour. Also, our weekly MLB draft segment, Jim Callis from MLB Network, MLB.com. This will be, again, our final one before the draft itself. So our last chance to get some thoughts in on this show before the MLB draft, which is coming up on the 17th. Or it starts on the 17th. Of course, that's the round that we care about because that's when the Orioles have the 1-1 pick. And then also later on this morning, we're going to talk some basketball. Baltimore Zone Terry. What? What? I did. Oh, okay. I did. I'm trying to help you. I appreciate it. Well, after you took my printer, you're trying to help me. Walk in here, can't.
We're a well-oiled machine today.
God.
Yeah. So just
have you ever lived in a place? John Colson, come here for a second.
Just to fill people in, Glenn walked into a chairless desk and no printer.
Yeah, there's no. What's that? What's that? What's that?
I suppose you couldn't have just hit.
Hey, you got to turn John's mic on. Yeah, you got it. What's that?
I suppose you couldn't have just hit print at home this morning.
With the log for the show, I'm supposed to print that at home.
Yeah, one time. Yeah.
Well, if you had told me that I needed to do that, I would have done that.
Down over there. Enjoy your
you're trying to put it on me.
Enjoy your metal chair.
Yeah, well, I had to move the metal chair over there so that those boys can use it. So I'm using the shortest chair that I've ever seen.
That was the chair over there.
Well, we needed another chair over there. This is an unbelievable. Yeah, I had to pull it down in order to make sure because I'm not particularly tall, but I'm even shorter today. It's not great. What I'm comparing this to is when you're like 18 and you move into an apartment for the first time, and you have no furniture.
But we do have movers.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, there is that. But when you have no furniture and you realize you're going to live that way for like a few days.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the way it's going to go.
I have my computer in the floor back there. I'm like running the business from that.
Sure, exactly. Or you do the bit where you walk in and you put the TV on the ground. You've got
one of the best spots for a TV.
A beanbag chair.
Or like a lawn chair or something like that.
And you're like, we can get by for a little while. Like, this will be fine.
I did that.
And then, like, within a week, you're like, oh, my God, I have to buy some furniture. Like, I have to. I can't live like this. Exactly right. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate you. There's John Colson, most worshipful grandmaster. Orioles lose yesterday. I don't think there's much to say about that. It was unpleasant and sort of a bummer after they had won 4 out of 5 games. 5 out of 6 games, Jesus. After they won 5 out of 6 for it to turn the way that they did the last 2 in Seattle. Such is life.
My biggest takeaway was Sam Haggerty's walk-up song, the Godfather theme.
I didn't even notice.
That was pretty sick.
All right, there you go.
And he had like 3 hits. It was...
All right.
Kevin Brown was talking about it. And it was,
all right.
And so was
in fairness, I had to watch the game with no sound on because I was working. Because it was an afternoon game. I was working. And
it was actually really cool.
You know what? I'm going to choose to believe you, Griffin, but I don't know. I had the game on with no sound, so it just didn't. And by the way, there was no reason at any point where I wanted to turn the sound on.
Yeah,
it was unpleasant. That's the reality of it. They now are off tonight before they head to Minnesota to open up a series with the Twins tomorrow. Again, there's really nothing else for me to say about it. We get some more movement in the NBA. DeJounte Murray is headed to Atlanta, where they become compelling. They're always compelling just because of the presence of Trae Young, who's, just as exciting a player as you can get in the NBA. But the two of them sharing a backcourt can be really compelling, could be absolutely fascinating.
Plus, Kevin Huerter's going to hit like 100%.
Right, there's that, because he's going to be left wide open in the corner all the time, and he's going to bury every triple from there. I don't know. I still don't think that I can elevate them into the territory of the Bucks or probably even the Celtics. And I guess we still have to monitor what happens with Bradley Beal. I know for the most part, people still seem to lean to the idea that he's going to end up back in Washington. But, if you're the Celtics and you're coming aggressive and Bradley Beal's like, well, I could get a 5-year deal, but it's with the Washington Wizards. Or I can take a 4-year deal to be somewhere where I might be able to compete for a championship. I don't think I could blame him if he were to go that route. But, again, the most money that would be on the table would be in a deal to go back to Washington, and so most people seem to assume that's how this is going to play out. We will see, unless there's been something this morning that I've just missed. We'll see what ends up going on with Bradley Beal. But DeJounte Murray is a big deal. I mean, that's not – and unfortunately, in an off-season that's largely boring, like this off-season is just not particularly significant. There's Jalen Brunson and not a lot else. That might be the biggest move that could shift power at least a bit. You're still hard-pressed to think the Knicks are a competitive team in the East just with Jalen Brunson. But the Hawks, we're only 2 years removed from them being in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not trying to oversell it or state that suddenly they're a threat.
The Nets are still there too.
And they're, again, if everything is smoothed over and Kyrie Irving's ready to go, then
Ben Simmons is back.
Yeah, right. That doesn't do quite as much for me. But the Nets are obviously right there in that conversation. Look, the Bucks with a healthy Malcolm Brogdon are the best team, and with all of their pieces, they're the best team to me in the East. The Celtics, Nets, probably the two teams that are right behind them. The Sixers, I guess, are still in that equation. But I think the Hawks enter that conversation of the group of teams behind the Bucks in the East by adding DeJounte Murray. So it's an interesting move, and the Spurs just kind of announcing that, look, we're just rebuilding. That's the way it's going to go for a little while. We need to use all these first-round picks and see if we can't get some pieces. And then the Women's Lacrosse Championship got underway last night at Towson with the USA beating Canada. For those that don't know and are kind of confused as to why the USA, it is really a weird bit. And I'm happy to be a part of the event. I want to make that abundantly clear. But it's kind of strange the way that they set up the World Championships.
You talking about the pool, who's in each pool?
Yeah, the fact that
the best teams are in pool.
They put all of the best teams in one pool and just sort of said it doesn't matter what happens. They're all going to the round of 16. It's a little bit weird. Yeah. It's a bit weird. And it's their championship, and I certainly understand that they want to make sure that the teams that are the best are involved, and that I don't you know what? I'm not going to.
I will say I like
looking forward to working and being part of that
90-minute games. Those were nice.
Yeah, that's pleasant. That's pleasant. There's no doubt about that. It's a bit weird not having the shot clock after you've gotten used to having the shot clock in the sport for a while.
I was at my sister's lacrosse tournament over the weekend, and I was like, we need a shot clock.
Yeah. How old's your sister?
She is 17. So
okay,
all right. High school lacrosse tournament, basically. Yeah.
And they don't have a shot clock?
They don't have
Do they have a shot clock when they play in high school?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
That's not okay. We got to do something about that. It is alarming when you're like, oh right, this is how
just hold it for.
This is how we used to do things. Yeah, not a fan. And we didn't really see that last night, obviously, between the USA and Canada. And part of that, again, let me go back to it. Part of it is what we talked about with Matt Hamilton the other day, which is that they're purposely trying to showcase certain things in this tournament to try to drive lacrosse towards becoming an Olympic sport. That's the big goal this summer, is to make a huge push for lacrosse to be added to the 2028 LA Olympics. So, Matt Hamilton said, look, the USA team is openly talking. They're going to take behind-the-back shots. We saw Dana Dobie from Canada do the one, I don't even remember what you call that, where she's not even facing the goal, the no-look, underhand sweep up that got, SportsCenter top 10 plays last night. They're trying to do that stuff, and it's kind of part of why they're doing the Pool A thing, is because they want the best teams in the world to be doing some of those things to get more attention. And I get it. It's just a little weird. That's all. And I'm very happy to be a part of the tournament. I look forward to I will see you this afternoon for New Zealand-Wales. Very excited about it. New Zealand, one of the better teams in the tournament. Who knows? Who knows how things could go? But, yeah, it definitely alarmed me for there to be no shot clock. I was like, that's what I'm doing for the next couple of weeks. Yeesh. And you just know with some of these countries, like they're thinking to themselves, their only chance of winning the game is if they can really slow it down, like if they can keep it to about a 6-5 type of game. And I'm like, that's not how you grow the game. That's not the way. That is no good. Can't have that.
I mean, it was good because the U.S. had a chance to hold it for about 5 minutes at the end. And
Once they were up by a bit, right? Yeah. Once they were up by a bit. Anyway, looking forward.
Maybe it won't be an issue.
I gotta say this one more time. Really looking forward to it. I'm very excited. It is truly an honor to be a part of the Women's Lacrosse World Championships, and I will be over there. My first game is at 4 today over at Towson. All right. So I think that's what we needed to cover. Now, today's show brought to you. Speaking of lacrosse. Really excited about the All-America Lacrosse game, which is coming up a little bit later on this month. Get your tickets right now for the premier high school lacrosse game of the year. The 17th annual All-America Lacrosse Boys and Girls Senior Game will be on Saturday, July 30th at Johns Hopkins' historic Homewood Field. This is your chance to see future lacrosse stars up close and in person as they showcase why they are the best in the world. Go to allamericalacrosse.com and get your tickets now. So, we've been sitting on this one. I told Carson Weekly a couple weeks ago. Carson, how old are you?
I'm 20.
You're 20 years old.
I just turned 20 in March.
It's staggering. It means you were born in 2002.
That's correct.
He was born a year after I graduated from high school, which is just really something for me to think about. I know those of you that are older are like, dude, good. Welcome to the world. All right, settle down. I'm not 40 yet, so this is still staggering to me. I haven't started losing my hair yet. I got a lot going for me. Not looks-wise, but, I got a lot going for me. So it's staggering to me to be the fact that I've got a 20-year-old intern currently. I played this game before with some other young folks. I think Bobby Trossett, the first time he came in, we played this game with him. It's how old are you, how young are you? And we're going to do duel. I have prepared 10 concepts, and that's all we're calling them, concepts. They could be people, places, things, movies, games, toy, whatever. It could be anything that I think are pretty common and everyone of a certain age would know, and because of that, I think there might be a chance that someone as young as Carson Weekly has heard of those concepts, although there's also a possibility that he hasn't. I have asked Carson Weekly to prepare a list of similarly 10 concepts that young people know about and register in their world that may or may not register with me whatsoever. Now, the game is not about embarrassing someone, and I know Bobby struggled with that. The point of this is not to embarrass someone with their lack of knowledge. Because I get it, these are difficult things. That's the idea. The idea is you're young. You might not know these things. Some of them, I think it would be embarrassing if you didn't get, but that's a different conversation. The same way, I'm old. I might not know about what it is that 20-year-olds at Ole Miss care about. They care about winning a baseball championship.
Yeah.
I know they care a lot about that.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Last team in the tournament.
What'd you do? Did you go streaking or something like that?
I was actually in Chattanooga, Tennessee this weekend visiting my girlfriend.
Okay.
So
What your girl? That's what? That's probably for another day.
That's a
probably
whole
for another day.
Another thing.
We'll save it for another day. That's the way it's gonna go. Another day. So I don't know what they're into. So the idea is,
I feel like you got a good chance. You seem pretty in tune with.
you say that.
You're very active on Twitter.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I know anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Glenn.
Okay.
These are very.
The point is,
fair.
I want the comedy of this comes from the guess. Like when you don't know, you have to guess because that's what brings out the comedy in the bit. The bit is not about poking fun. The bit is about the silliness of it. So I've got 10 concepts. How young are you? You've got 10. How old are you? And Griffin's going to kind of be the judge. I don't know how this is going to go because Griffin is basically the same age as you.
Yeah.
So he probably won't know things. It might be that if you don't know, I let Griffin guess as well.
Sure.
All right? That
Okay.
might be how it goes.
So the odds are stacked against you a little bit here, Glenn.
So who do you want to have go first?
I say let's have Carson go first.
You think young Carson?
How old are you going?
How old am I?
How old first?
Young Carson will go first. All right.
All right.
What's the first one you got, or it's Carson Weekly? Say it. Give the man his due. Carson Weekly. Yes.
Yes.
All
All right.
Okay.
Sorry, I was tweeting something out.
All right.
Okay. First
Did
thing.
it include a link to where people could watch?
We'll work on
It's
that.
okay.
We'll
We
work
got to
on
do
that.
better
We'll work
about
on
that. Just saying what we're doing, not that helpful. Got to show
Okay.
people where it is they can go to watch.
All right, Glenn, you ready?
Yes.
First thing.
Uh-huh.
It's an adjective.
You
Bussin'.
know what's funny? I know that I've heard this. That's bussin'. And I'm not sure I have any idea what it means. Now, I would have been able to say it's an adjective, but again, you're not supposed to tell me it. You're just supposed to give me the
All right,
concept.
I'll give you just bare bones
right?
concepts from here on.
But what does it mean when somebody says something is bussin'? I genuinely don't know. All right, I got to guess. It means that's it's bussin'. Bussin'. God. It means it's amazing. It's dope. It's bussin'.
Pretty close.
Yeah?
It means like really like delicious, but like amazing.
What would you use to describe? Like you would use it for
I'd be like, man, like went to Chipotle today, man. That was,
so you
that was
specifically use bussin' for food.
Pretty
is
much.
what you're saying.
I mean, you know how those kind of adjectives go, and sometimes they can extend out into other things. But like it's mainly to use to reference food.
Okay, all right,
and like to compliment.
All right,
say that was
all right.
bussin'. That was good.
All right, I've heard it a lot. I did not know that.
It gets thrown around quite a bit.
All right, my first one for you.
Okay.
How young are you? If I said, what is a Dreamcast?
That's a Sega, right?
Damn!
Like
Look at
I
you.
don't think I
You
knew
know
what that was.
things. You do know things. This is exactly what it was. After the Sega Genesis, they came out with the Sega Dreamcast, and it was an amazing video game system, dude. It was incredible. Unfortunately, they were a little bit behind because PlayStation was letting you watch DVDs on their system, and the Dreamcast, while it had a CD format, it couldn't play your DVDs, and so everybody bought a PlayStation and then an Xbox, and the Dreamcast fell off and then kind of died a slow death, which was a bummer because it had great games. It had outstanding games, but it could not compete because everybody else was like, wait a second, this thing can be a video game system and a DVD player? I get two birds, and that's amazing! So that's why the Dreamcast died. All right, so you're up 1-0. That's well done.
Thank you.
Next?
All right. Doja Cat.
Doja Cat is a rapper. She's I remember Doja Cat kind of broke onto the scene with the hit song "Bitch I'm a Cow."
Yes.
That's a
very correct.
That's a 100, which I don't know why, but I loved. I loved that song.
I think TikTok really helped Doja Cat blow up too.
I mean,
a lot of her songs became big, like dance kind of songs for all the dancers on TikTok.
I don't. This is the cow. If for those that don't remember the classic hit from Doja Cat, I'll never understand why any human being would ever have listened to this, but I listened to it many times. I greatly enjoyed the "I'm a Cow" song. Oh, hang on, I got to turn it on. Oh, there's me in the background.
Well, good on you. Good job, Glenn.
Hang on a second. Hang on. Let it play out.
I'm trying to.
Let it play, Griffin. Hang on.
We're on YouTube here.
Bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a cow. I'm not a cat.
That was a hit song.
It
was a
was.
hit song. That was a smash hit from Doja Cat. What you got? Oh, you printed it? Did it work? Did it print in the... Oh, look at that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now I'll be able to call the New Zealand... Oh, I said Wales. It's Ireland today. What's that? I mean, yes, definitely. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. And there's a log for today, boys. You can have that. All right. So next on my list, who is Kevin Federline? How young are you?
I'll let you guess first.
Who is Kevin Federline?
All right.
Uh-huh. Yeah, John Colson knows because we're old.
Is it one of the actors from Friends?
It's a good guess. Do you have a guess, Griffin?
I don't. Kevin Federline.
Who's Kevin Federline?
He sounds definitely like a baseball player from the 90s.
Definitely not a baseball player by any stretch of the imagination. Kevin Federline was quite famous because he was Britney Spears' backup dancer and became her husband. He was the epitome of every lame white guy that wanted to be a rapper. He went by K-Fed. K-Fed was very popular in the mid-2000s, but not for any good reason. He was like the beginning of characters like Riff Raff from the Spring Breakers movie. He had nothing to offer the world. and yet became very famous. Kevin Federline was Britney Spears' husband. Next.
All right, next. A Taki.
It's a snack food. It's the
great.
kids they're very spicy. The kids enjoy those a great deal.
Yes.
I think kids like my kids' age are into Takis. Like I don't think you have to be in college and smoking weed. I think even like the young kids are into Takis. I think
yeah.
that's a thing. All right, so that one was easy. That one I got. That was super easy.
Yeah, that was easy.
This is a straight shoot. I've never had one.
I think I've had them like once.
Yeah, I don't even
what
love
is
it either, but-
what really is the appeal as opposed to other snack foods?
I think it's like the same thing with like hot Cheetos. Like it's the same thing.
it's the exact same concept.
It's the same concept of like they're spicy.
Here's
and they're
a hot
crunchy.
take. I don't think hot Cheetos alone offer anything.
I don't either.
But we did this bit where Papa Cass, our spring intern, came in here, and her like go-to comfort snack food is hot Cheetos with cream cheese.
What?
Yeah,
Yep.
and
I've
we
seen
all made
people do that.
fun of it, but it worked. It worked. It was a real thing. All right, next on my list. Who were the Nordiques?
Were they a musical group like when like Destiny's Child was like?
Okay, like a wannabe Destiny's Child.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm trying to say.
Like a girl group
Yeah,
that
like
wanted to try to get their
they-
shine.
they
Hey,
tried to-
you like Destiny's Child, so maybe you'll like us
Yes,
too. Okay,
that's my
good,
guess.
Good guess, Griffin.
That's a good guess. Okay. To me, it sounds like what is it? The Nordiques.
The Nordiques.
Oh, the Nordiques.
Who are the
Yeah,
Nordiques?
I was gonna say, since the last one was a backup dancer,
Mhm.
it sounds like maybe Bjork's backup dancing.
Bjork had a backup dancing crew.
Yeah.
Bjork, if you would like go to Merriweather, you would see Bjork and the Nordiques. I like these answers.
Okay. So I'm right.
What if I told you they just won the Stanley Cup the other night? Before moving to Denver in 1995,
Wow.
the
Wow.
Quebec Nordiques.
What is a Nordique?
I don't know. I can't pretend like
It's
I know that.
What is a Canuck?
Yeah, well, that's just sort of the name for. That's like a Canadian.
Well,
basically,
yeah,
right?
but like same. concept.
The
Flame.
Quebec Nordiques were an NHL franchise that moved to Denver and became the Colorado
Wow.
Avalanche.
When
That-
did they move?
1995, if
Oh,
I
wow.
remember correctly.
That's kind of recent.
It's exactly right. It's not that
Yeah,
long
it
ago.
really wasn't.
It's not like asking you about the Brooklyn Bridegrooms or something like that. This is a franchise that existed not that long ago. All right, so I'm up 2-1.
Mhm, yeah.
Not that it's a competition. It's really about
No,
the
but
the,
there-
the,
we
the-
can keep
right.
score. We
Yeah,
should.
sure. It's really about the entertainment of the guesses. Next.
Okay. Snatched.
I mean, I'm familiar with the motion picture Snatch. Snatched. 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 I snatched that thing up. I don't know. Is it a
Somewhat.
Okay, you're going to have to tell me.
It's snatched is an adjective, and it means that you look very like skinny and fit.
Really?
Yep. It's like a big thing.
Use
for-
it in a sentence. I want
Wow,
you to
I guess you look snatched in that dress.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a thing human beings say.
Yeah. Can you believe
You
that?
ever heard that, Colson? If I walked up to you and said, "Hey, man, you're looking snatched today," how would you respond?
There's a lot of ways.
Yeah, I don't know. That's apparently a thing now. You're looking fit. You're looking in shape. The kids say you're looking snatched.
He is looking
Very
pretty
weird.
snatched.
Yeah,
looking
looking good
snatched
for you.
today.
That is wild. I had never heard that. All right. What are Heelys?
Heelys are the shoes with the wheel. And
There you go. Well
you
done.
take them to the mall, and you could like.
Did-
the
did-
floor was perfect.
I mean, are you telling me that they still exist? That they're still a thing? or-
They are very much
Yeah.
still.
Really?
They made it-
Oh,
they
I
made
did
a-
not know that.
They made how many years ago do you think that was? They made a little comeback,
Yeah.
and people were starting to wear them
I
again.
mean, when I was in elementary school,
Never,
I remember them being banned
never
when I was
did
in
a thing.
elementary
Yep.
school.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Wow.
I remember kids had them in elementary school.
I am learning something.
And my brother's one friend still wears them, and whenever
All right.
whenever we go
All
out,
right.
he like
All
rolls
right.
around him.
I had no
Through
idea.
the McDonald's.
I had no
he's a
idea.
fool.
Very good. All right. Next, it's 2-2 now. Next on your list, how old am I?
All right. This is one word.
One word.
Be real.
He's a rapper from the group Cypress Hill. Is Be Real. I know that as a fact. I swear I hung out with him. I might have done illegal drugs with him. Might have. Not going to give away the answer to that question. Be real. It's one word.
One word.
Be real. Be real. It's something you say to your friends when like you're trying to tell them to stop acting so fake. Like, yo, bro,
that
be
is
real.
that is true.
Okay.
But Be Real is this new app that has been getting a lot of traction with the young youths. And what it is you have like your friends on it, just like Snapchat. But once a day, it
By the way,
buzzes your
I've
phone.
never used Snapchat. That's how old I am.
So Be Real buzzes your phone once a day like a phone call, and you have to pull your phone out and you take a picture of exactly what you're doing in that moment, and then you look, and everyone else is.
Do you use this?
A lot of people do. I don't. A lot of people do.
I gotta be honest with you. This sounds really stupid. Like,
It is so dumb. But
just
like,
incredibly
it is
stupid.
Incredibly popular. And then you look.
It
on
sounds
your
like I'd be
feed,
the first guy to be like, you know what I'm gonna do? Not do that.
and then you look on your feed, and it's what all your friends were doing. And so, like, it could be right now, or it could be at 8:30 tonight.
But why do I particularly care what they're doing at 12:42?
That's the thing.
Why does anyone care about anything?
You know what? You gotta make a good point there.
That's
Griffin.
the thing.
All right, you got a chance to go ahead. Next one, Hoobastank. Hoobastank. What is Hoobastank?
I'll let you guess first.
So you know this.
I don't think so. No.
All right. It's a Tribe Called Quest's first big song.
There you go. Hoobastank by A Tribe Called Quest. You nailed it. And actually, no.
I'm guessing maybe it's a saying when someone smells bad.
Hoobastank. You know what? That would be a good way to describe that. Would be, I'm feeling
Hoobastank.
some Hoobastank. No, Hoobastank is a band. Maybe is. I don't know if they were a band. Had a smash hit called "The Reason," which was a bit of a ballad. I found a reason for me. They were terrible. They were truly awful.
I think I've heard that song.
Really, really bad. The band Hoobastank. And if they're still around, they shouldn't be. They're a crime against humanity. Next, it's still 2-2. 2-2 where we are in this competition. Next.
All right. A GIF.
You think I don't know what a GIF is?
I don't know.
Really? I mean, like, I know I'm old, but I'm not dead. You really think I don't know what a GIF is?
I don't know. I was. This is actually one that I was really curious about to see if you knew. So apparently, I was
serious?
dead wrong.
I feel a little offended by this. Yes, a GIF or a moving picture, if you will. I promise you, I've made lots of GIFs in my life. I promise you, that's the case. All right. Well, that was a freebie. Next on the list, if I said vote for Pedro.
Oh, it's from Napoleon Dynamite.
There you go. Well done. Well done. Well done. So we're 3-3.
Two easy ones.
3-3.
Still see a vote for Pedro shirt
every now and then.
once in a while.
Yeah. I get it. Next.
All right. Who is Bryce Hall?
Oh, he's a YouTuber, and I don't know why anybody cares about. No?
I mean, yeah, we'll give it to him,
Yeah, I
right?
guess that.
TikTok. I think he has a YouTube channel.
Oh, he definitely has a YouTube.
He
because,
really got famous from TikTok.
And he did one of those celebrity boxing things that nobody cared about.
Yeah.
Like, no, I
He
don't.
went against Lamar,
I can't-
didn't he?
I think he did.
I can't tell you a single thing about this human being and like
I
what
couldn't
this
either.
person's content is, but I definitely know who they are.
Yeah, I think he's
Which
kind
is
of
a
like
sad
I know he
statement about-
dances a little bit.
Oh,
I think
good.
a
We
lot
need
of the-
we need more of that. There's
I
not
think-
enough of that on social media.
I think that he has a reputation of being a good-looking guy too.
You know what? That, by the way, I have no problem with. I have no problem with there being good-looking people. I'm all for it. Good for you for being good-looking.
And he boxed Lamar Odom. I mean,
So
Yeah.
that's a nothing. What is the Arch Deluxe? The Arch Deluxe.
Is it a McDonald's meal?
that's
You know what?
That's what I was
It
thinking.
was a McDonald's hamburger. It was.
lettuce and tomato and
It was supposed to be an elevated Big Mac. Was the concept.
Oh.
They put $150 million into marketing the Arch Deluxe. And by the way, a delicious hamburger. Put peppered bacon on it. It was outstanding. But they charged more for it because it was an elevated burger, and they lost the fact that people went to McDonald's because they didn't want to pay money for their food. They just wanted to eat crap, and that was why they went there. And so it flopped miserably. But it was a very, very a tasty hamburger at a
I
time
still
in my
love a
life.
Big Mac.
I haven't been to a McDonald's in 17 years, 18 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I assure you, in the 20 years before that, I went a lot. I had to get rid of that, or I was gonna die. But the Arch Deluxe was a tasty hamburger.
The
All right.
Annex McDonald's, right? In White Marsh?
What's that?
That the Annex that had the Taco Bell and the
Oh,
McDonald's.
that's right. You remember. You remember 100%.
one?
Oh, my God. I might as well have moved in. I dated a girl named Jen, and we were over there every couple of days. She'd be like, and she, of course, was in good shape. Like, she was not like me. I was fat. She was not, so she was no concern. She's like, well, just go to Taco Bell. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And I was just a fat F. All right, we got 3 more. What you got?
All right.
We got to move quickly because we
All
got to
right.
get to Jacob Berry.
John B.
The Sloop John B. It's a great song by the Beach
By the
Boys.
Beach
Everybody
Boys,
knows that. John B. was also the name of a R&B artist, a very successful R&B artist. I'm going to guess John B.'s a rapper.
It's not a bad guess.
Uh-huh.
So John B was pretty much the main character in the hit show Outer Banks.
Cannot pretend as though I know that the guy that plays basketball at North Carolina is going to be a part of the next season of
Yeah, it's a pretty big. They're both-
Armando Baycott, is that who it is? Yeah,
Armando
Armando Baycott's going to be on the next season
Didn't
of
he
Outer
throw out
Banks.
the first pitch at an Orioles game?
Yeah, because of Jimmy's.
Yeah.
John from Jimmy's is a massive North Carolina fan and wants
Yeah,
other people here to
got the
care about North
sponsorship.
Carolina because of it, and so. Like he did a
Not
deal
gonna
with it.
happen.
I love John and God bless him, and they beat Duke, so I'm the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But like, it's just never going to be a world where I'm going to suddenly be like, yeah, Carolina. There's just no reason for that. All right, this one's kind of. Who's Condoleezza Rice?
Sounds like a dish.
She wants to coach the Browns.
I'm gonna say that Condoleezza Rice was one of the first WNBA star players.
Okay, all right.
She's a politician, right?
That's close enough. Condoleezza
Yeah.
Rice was the Secretary of State.
Okay.
And
It's a good guess.
yes,
Look
she was
Griffin.
for some reason offered an interview to be the Browns coach despite having no experience whatsoever. She was also the first ever female member at Augusta.
Oh,
Was
Wow.
first ever female member at Augusta.
Secretary
But-
of State for what? President?
For George W. Bush.
for
For George W.
Gotcha.
Bush, yes. All right, 2 more left. You go first.
All right.
By the way, we Carson and I are still tied 4-4 because Griffin's doesn't count. Carson doesn't get the
All
point
right.
for that. I meant to just say Condoleezza Rice to see if you would guess that it was food. Like I meant to not say who is Condoleezza Rice.
that was the
I
first
meant to
thing that
just
came
say
to my mind.
Condoleezza Rice to see if you would say it's like a New Orleans, a popular New Orleans dish.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Last one. Cardi B's husband.
Well, I know that's Offset, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, from Migos.
That was instant.
From Migos. I know. Do you think I don't know that? Come on, man.
I didn't think.
Raindrops, drop tops. I know the whole thing, man. What are we doing?
All right, I got to clutch up here and tie. End this in a tie.
Jinkos.
Oh. Jinkos.
Ironic that you would say clutch. Jinkos.
All right. Was Jinkos like an old Jiffy Lube that went out of business? They could get your car serviced at.
No, unfortunately not.
I was
that.
gonna say like a food chain of some sort.
No.
Yeah, but then he said clutch up. I also thought car.
Jinkos were a type of jeans that kind of like puffed out at the leg, and they were an abomination and an eyesore, and everyone wore them.
Jinkos.
And a few years back,
Almost.
the guy, a PFT commenter, decided to bring them back, and he wore them to Washington Capitals games,
like not boot cut.
and he
jeans.
called them his clutch jeans.
Oh, God.
Which was a really good bit. Like I
mean,
actually
that's-
thought that was a really
okay,
good bit.
okay.
I had one more. I had 10. So I'll just give
What?
it. I'll give you one more. Yeah, they're an abomination, Jinkos. They're an absolute abomination. There's no reason why a human being would wear these jeans. JNCO, by the way, that's JNCO, an
okay.
absolute
Because
abomination.
it almost sounded like it sounded almost like a slur or something when you first said it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Like,
I don't think I would have gone with
I know,
that.
I didn't think so either.
Griffin, I'm pretty sure I would
Pretty
not
rough.
if it was a slur. That's something that you all used to say to gay people. No, what's wrong with you? Do you know what Napster is by chance?
A brand. It's a baby.
Oh.
It's a baby brand.
Oh,
Like Gerber.
okay. All right.
Napster.
Oh my.
Yeah.
All right. All
Can you use it in
right.
a sentence?
This went about. When I get home later, I'm probably gonna end up spending 3 hours on Napster.
Like your bed? There's a nickname for your bed.
Before you could purchase music on the internet, we all just
Oh, you pirate?
stole it and
Okay.
shared it with each other, and we used a software called Napster
Interesting.
in order to do it. Napster was brought down by the band Metallica. They brought down Napster,
Metallica.
and that was what led us to the era of Apple Music and Spotify and paying for music online instead of just stealing it and sharing it with all of your friends. But the coolest thing ever was when you first had a friend that had the first access to Napster, and they would be like, hey, for $10, I'll put any 10 songs on a CD for you. And they would bring you back a CD with 10 songs. You'd be like, oh, my God, this is wild. Yeah, that was a wild time in life. All right.
Sick.
I did win. I did win 5-4, so I'm
Congratulations,
claiming
Ryan.
that. But this went
Younger
about
than you look.
this went about the way I expected it
Yeah.
to go,
was fun.
frankly. This went about the way I expected it
That was
to
a
go.
lot of fun.
All right, when we come back in, Jacob Berry could be the Orioles' #1 overall pick. We're going to chat with him next. And don't forget, coming up today, Weekend at Bookies. Every other Thursday morning at 11:40 a.m., Weekend at Bookies is brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Weekend at Bookies coming up a little bit later on this morning at 11:40. Simply the Bets every Tuesday, but again, we'll be taking a couple weeks off. Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday at 11:40. This is Glenn Clark Radio. Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new FanDuel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
Are you ready, soccer fans? This summer, the English Premier League returns to Baltimore. Arsenal, Everton, square off in the Charm City match, July 16th, under the lights at M&T Bank Stadium, home of the Baltimore Ravens. This is your only opportunity to take in a Premier League match this summer in the Mid-Atlantic region. Individual and group tickets are on sale at BaltimoreRavens.com.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Come in for Glory Burgers, Glory Wings. There's glory for everyone at Glory Days Grill. Enjoy our award-winning burgers, ribs, and wings, or try our fresh salads, hand-cut salmon, or our scrumptious sandwiches. Yum! Come in for our daily specials every weekday, like $7.99 burgers on Mondays and $6.99 nachos on Thursdays. Dine in and let us serve you, or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and take it home. Visit us at glorydaysgrill.com for a location near you. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
The 2022 baseball season is in full swing, and the future is brighter than ever for your Baltimore Orioles. I'm Paul Valley.
And I'm Zach Goodman.
And together we bring you the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon with everything you need to know about the Orioles and baseball as a whole. From veterans like Cedric Mullins, Austin Hayes, and Ryan Mountcastle,
To young stars like Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, and DL Hall.
we've got you covered for every game, every pitch,
And every debut.
you can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or you can listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. So join us live on the Bat Around every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports. It's statistically proven that the show sounds better if you're not wearing pants. Like me, right now. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
Back in here on GCR. We had to do this a little bit earlier on because of his schedule, but an opportunity to catch up with the man who might be the Orioles' #1 overall pick, Jacob Berry, right here on Glenn Clark Radio. Well, we've been talking a lot of MLB draft over the last couple of weeks as the Baltimore Orioles indeed hold the 1-1 pick in the 2022 draft, and one man whose name might very well be the one that's called by the Birds with that pick is Jacob Berry from LSU, and he's with us now here on GCR. Jacob, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Yeah, thank you for having me today. I'm really excited to be on here.
Well, it's great to chat with you, dude. Just take me through like what it's like to be Jacob Berry today, right now. Like your life is about to change wherever it is, whoever it ends up being, your life is about to change so drastically. Like, what does a day look like? Are you more are you an anxiety type? What everything that's going on with you?
I think right now I'm just ready to get back on the field and get back to playing and being my normal self. I mean, it seems like these last few weeks are kind of slowing by and judging by, waiting for the draft to come by. I'm really just ready for it to happen and to start playing ball again. I mean, that's what I love to do, and that's what I'm going to love to do for as long as I play, to be honest with you. And might be at Baltimore, might be somewhere else, but I'm just excited to do it.
I get it, man. Take me back. Let's go back before we move forward. When did you know? Like, when in your life did you say to yourself, "Dude, I'm a little bit different than the other kids I'm playing against. Like, I might really have a chance to do this for a living." Was there a moment for you?
I think obviously going to the University of Arizona last year and playing, and I just realized I was barreling balls, and I was barreling balls more than any other player on my team and then anybody else we played. And I realized I really had a hit tool. And, I mean, I really just started believing in myself last summer, and I think my confidence has just skyrocketed the last few years from high school to college and obviously from college to now. And I'm kind of really grateful for the opportunity and the path that I've taken the last few years.
Yeah, you say your confidence. Obviously, you can do it. You hit 370 for Christ's sakes in the SEC. That ain't easy to do. Just because you referenced it, for people that don't know, you're from Arizona. You were at Arizona. Why did you end up? What was the thought process in ending up at LSU?
Yeah, so I'm actually from Phoenix, Arizona, a little town in the southeast part of Phoenix called Queen Creek, and I committed to the University of Arizona and Jay Johnson as a sophomore in high school. I mean, I'd gotten recruited by him as a freshman early on in my freshman year, and I mean, the reason I committed to Arizona was because of him. It was a good fit, a great coach, and he just built a relationship that no other coach built. And when he got the new job at LSU, it kind of shocked me. I had to kind of take a step back and keep my options open. So with the portal kind of being a new thing, I kind of put my name in the portal, not sure really what I was going to do. And then when I got in the portal, Jake gave me a call, and, I mean, it was just a no-brainer. I mean, the guy who believed in me from the very beginning offered me to play my last year maybe at LSU, and, I mean, I couldn't turn that down. And that's the reason I played at LSU this year, and I loved every moment of it, and I'll never forget the memories that I made out there.
As we know, the SEC West might actually be better in baseball than it is in football, right? Like, I mean, it's that unbelievable of a division. Do you feel like, in a way, making the jump might have helped prepare you even more? Like, not to take anything away from Arizona. I mean, this is a place where you win national championships at Arizona. Yeah. But do you feel like maybe it helped you even more in your preparation for this moment?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you see guys get traded all the time and sign free agency deals. I mean, I think that's something that's actually going to help me in the future, where a lot of kids haven't done that. They'll just play at one place and won't know how to transition, and I think I learned that this year. I mean, it was definitely weird moving halfway across the country to play at LSU, but, I mean, I learned to love it, and, I mean, I'm glad I did it because it was one of the greatest learning experiences I've ever had.
It's cool. Jacob Berry is with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Jacob, I'm sure you've heard it from everybody you've talked to in this process. When people talk about you, they say, "Man, that guy has a hell of a bat." I don't know where he is position-wise, though. Like, I don't know where he's going to fit. And there are people that will say, you're a positionless prospect. And I'm sure that bothers you a great deal when you hear that. What is your response to the questions that exist about you, your glove, and where you play at the major league level?
I can play anywhere at the major league level. I'm not really worried about what anybody has to say on that. I know I'm going to be a good defender in a few years in the big leagues. I mean, they can say all they want now, but in a few years they'll be like, "Oh yeah, remember when we said he wasn't any good?" It's just, I mean, this makes working towards the goal a little bit easier when somebody's kind of rooting against you. But I mean, I don't really listen to him too much, so I mean, that's, I guess, the good thing, and the good thing about me.
Does playing third specifically, is that something that you want to strive for? Or are you the type that says, "No, dude, I'll go be the best defensive first baseman that ever existed"? And I think that's pretty helpful.
Yeah, I mean, I can play any position, but I view myself as a third baseman in the big league someday. I mean, I started playing good defense towards the end of the year when I started playing more and more, and, I mean, I just see myself getting better each day I go out there. And that's at third base, first base, second base, maybe even the outfield. Just whatever the organization puts me at, I'm going to be the best player and I can be at that position and obviously hit the way I do.
Right. So, yeah, that's the obvious part. The obvious part is the hitting. I'm going to ask the dumbest question you'll probably hear in your life, which is how? This is the hardest. Tony Gwynn said it's the hardest thing in the world. Ted Williams said it's the hardest thing in the world to do, to hit a baseball. How is it that it is so easy for you to be so insanely productive as a hitter?
He's not wrong. I mean, it is the hardest thing to do in any sports, in my opinion. I mean, the thing I try to do, I don't really try to chase hits. That's the biggest thing I do as a hitter. I try to chase barrels. I feel if I barrel the ball, I mean, I can't be mad, even if I line out or I hit a deep pop fly. If I put a good swing on it and I believe it's a good swing, I'm happy with those results. And to be honest, kind of the results just follow that. If I get away from it and chasing hits, that's when I usually get in trouble. But for the most part, the last few years I've just really bought into barreling the baseball and chasing barrels, and that's just what I do. And I mean, that seems to be working out pretty well for me.
What gives you the confidence that there's no reason to think that won't translate to the next level? Like, what is it uniquely about your approach that you say, I don't care who the guy is that's standing on the other side of me, I'm going to be able to hit against them because of this?
My approach is really simple, but I mean, I don't know if that's really, I mean, that's a big part of my success. My approach is really simple. I'm chasing barrels like I just said, but I mean, I just believe I outwork everybody. I think that's the reason I'm going to be successful at the next level. I mean, I've played with a lot of great players, and I mean, I just seem to outwork everybody, and that's just who I am as a person, and that's who I'm going to be moving forward. It doesn't matter how talented you are. I'm just going to outwork you and just be the best player I am.
He is Jacob Berry from LSU. He's with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Jacob, why should the Orioles be taking you number 1 overall?
That's a great question, but that's not from my decision. I mean, whatever organization picks me, I'm going to be happy to go to. But, I mean, it would be pretty damn cool to be wearing some orange and black here pretty soon.
What would it mean? What would 1-1 mean? To your point, I get, like, wherever you end up, you got the opportunity. Not every great player in baseball history was selected 1-1. Like, a lot of them were selected later than even the first round. But what would it mean to you for it to be 1-1?
I mean, that'd be one of the coolest things, and, I mean, a moment I'd never forget in the rest of my life. I mean, there's only one player picked first overall every year, and, I mean, that's something really special to take forward. And, I mean, I'll be like I said, I'm just going to be happy wherever I get picked, but that just means something a little bit different, too, if you're picked 1-1.
You know, there is still the pressure that comes with that, right? And the moment that you arrive as a 1-1 pick, the expectation is that you're, you know, Ken Griffey Jr., that you're one of the greatest players ever just because you were taken at that pick. How are you prepared to handle that type of pressure?
I think one of my coaches at the University of Arizona actually told me this is there's not really a thing called pressure. It's called an opportunity. I mean, you can be in a situation that you feel there's pressure, but really it's just another great opportunity. I mean, I view myself as becoming a great baseball player here within the next few years and for a long time in the major leagues. And, I mean, I'm just looking forward to that opportunity. I mean, you can't have pressure if you don't have the opportunity, right? So that's what I believe in, and that's where I'm going to kind of go with that.
I like the sounds of that. I like the sounds of it. You know, there's a unique opportunity with the Orioles, right? Because this is a franchise that's sort of been in this rebuild mode and now appears to be moving into this time of contention of late. Is there anything about that that's uniquely interesting to you, that there's a possibility of you walking in kind of as that guy and being someone who can quickly ascend and quickly be part of something special here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the great ball club. I mean, they've had some great draft picks last year, and now you see them kind of in the big leagues just now emerging. And, I mean, obviously they're going to be in contention here within the next few years. And, I mean, whoever gets picked up by them will be be a big part of their team and one of the main players and main leaders on their team. And, I mean, that'd be something that would just be in its own league of its own, in my opinion.
I mean, it would be pretty cool. Did you get to know Ben McDonald at all by chance over the last year, like while you were at LSU?
I did a little bit. He was awesome, man. We talked about hunting and fishing, and
that's cool.
Man, I loved hanging around him. He was an awesome man.
He's so great, man. He's such a great dude. Did you ever have a chat with him about the 1-1 thing at all? Like, he was somebody that had to go through that pressure, right, and that level of expectation. Did you ever bring that up with him at all?
No, I didn't. I was more focused on what I had to do that day
I get it.
and that weekend.
I get it.
But yeah, I mean, we just chit chatted and kind of just had a good time. And he was an awesome man. I mean, I'm sure if I were to talk to him again or call him up, he'd probably talk to me about all that. But I mean, I was just kind of having a good time with him, just getting to know him.
He's the best. I mean, I could sit and just listen to him talk about. Anytime he comes on the show, I 20 minutes later, I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like, it's just the way it goes. He's a great dude. All right, so what else do we need to know about you, Jacob Berry? Give me the rundown on you. Give me maybe a moment away from baseball. What does it look like in your life? What are you all about?
Yeah, I mean, I love baseball. I mean, I live, breathe, and die it. It seems like every morning I'm going up to get a workout. I mean, I did it this morning. I got up at 5 a.m. to go work out and then go ahead and take ground balls. And then, I mean, just getting back into the workout thing, man, it's been nice to have an off season, a couple of weeks to relax, but it's not me. I like to be doing something all the time, and baseball fills that void. But I mean, off the baseball field, like I just said with Ben McDonald, I love to hunt and fish. I mean,
that's cool.
I'll go hunt and fish. I'll get up and drive somewhere at 4 o'clock in the morning just to go fish for a couple hours.
Wow.
And
wow. Okay, so can you do all of it? Can you clean it? Can you grill? Like, are you completely? Wow. Wait, how old were you when you started fishing?
Oh, my dad's had me fishing on a little lake in northern Arizona and Utah, not so little, but it's called Lake Powell. And I mean, I've been fishing on there since I was 3 and 4 years old.
That's
cool.
He
used to take me out, throw a life jacket on me, and give me a pull and told me to start casting and reeling, and
that's awesome.
And everything that came along with that. So I mean, I love it, and that's something I want to do. That's what I'm gonna do for a long time, even after baseball's done. But that's one of my true loves too. There.
Are you the same way when you go hunting? Like, can you gut, can you clean and grill it all up yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we cook quite a bit of meat at my house and when I'm on the road, so I got to learn how to cut it out and clean it out pretty good. So I guess that's a good thing, kind of being raised by a guy who likes to hunt and fish.
Hey, bro. I mean, first of all, it looks like you're about to make enough money that you won't have to do any of these things yourself. You could have somebody else do them for you, but it's a pretty remarkable skill to have that you can be that self-sustaining no matter your circumstances. That's really cool. That's a remarkable thing to be able to do. Can I go back for a second? When I was listening to you talk about, how much you love baseball and getting after it, does it drive you? Like, is there a chip on your shoulder when you say you try to block it all out, but are you looking forward to trying to shove it up, people's what's the way that they talk about you defensively? Like, is that something that you say, I am hellbent, this matters to me, that I can give these guys the middle finger in a few years and say, you didn't think I could defend?
Oh, I mean, that's always a thought in my mind, but I mean, that's just certain players have certain motivations on what drives them as players, and I think that's just something that I've done. I mean, you can say I've achieved something, but in my opinion, I haven't really achieved anything and I haven't accomplished anything yet. My goal as a kid is always play in the big leagues for a long time, and that's what I'm going to be satisfied when I play in the big leagues for a long time. And to be a good ball player in the big leagues, you have to be able to do every part of the game. And
no doubt.
I mean, everybody says that's part of my weakness, but I disagree. In my opinion, I think I'm just a good defender as a lot of players. I mean, just haven't played that many games there, so. Yeah, I'm a little bit excited about that, but I mean, that's just kind of what drives me as well, and that's something that just keeps me on my edge a little bit, and it keeps me going.
All right, I love it, man. I love it. Everybody's got something that's got to drive. That's cool. That's really cool to hear. Jake, it was great to get to know you, man. Am I right to assume that you're the only human being on the planet that has somehow avoided being on Twitter?
You're correct. I got rid of it.
Good for you, bro.
At LSU, and I didn't really have it too much at Arizona, so I was like, what's the point of having it here? So I try to stay off it. I mean, I'm not even on Instagram too much anymore, so that's the good thing about me. I like simple. I mean, I like baseball and hunting and fishing. I try to stay off all the distractions.
Well, we will point out that if you want to follow Jacob on Instagram, it's at Jacob_Berry _21. That's the account where you can follow him. Dude, if it's Baltimore, we can't wait, man. We can't wait to get to know you and welcome you here, and we'll be chatting with you a lot over the years. If it's somewhere else, we wish you well. We just understand, like, if it ends up, you're not going to fall that far. But if it were like Boston or New York, like, just understand, we don't mean any of the things we say about you, all right? Like, it's not personal, okay? Hey, Jacob, thank you for taking the time for us. This was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's Jacob Berry from LSU, who is a hell of a hitter. And, he says he can play third base at the major league level. Of course, what's he going to say, right? That opinion is not shared by all. We'll talk to Jim Callis about it here in just a second. But if he could, that bat is remarkable. That is a bat you'd like to have for a few years. All right, hour number 1 of today's show in the books. It's been brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. 61 self-service kiosks, and they're open 24/7. So even if you're like me and you want to bet Wimbledon, you can come in bright and early every day and get your bets in during the fortnight and for the finals next weekend. UFC 276 is coming up this Saturday night. You want to reserve your spot right now for Israel Adesanya and Jared Cannonier. Some other big fights on the card. Max Holloway. You can do that right now. Email events@sportssocialmd.com. That's events@sportssocialmd.com. They're expecting big crowds. Big fight nights always bring out big crowds. Combine that with the fact that this is a holiday weekend. They're expecting big crowds. So if you want your own table, you want you and your friends to be able to have a section of reserved seats, those reclining chairs, to watch the fights for free, and maybe come out on top because you make some money betting, then email events@sportssocialmd.com. That's events@sportssocialmd.com to be in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel on Saturday night for UFC 276. I don't know if we've even had a conversation with this man during draft season. One of our favorites, of course, MLB.com, MLB Pipeline, MLB Network. He is Jim Callis, and he's with us here on GCR. Jim, I apologize. We're training. We've got Carson's running the board for the first time today. I apologize for that. Thank you, as always, taking the time for us, my friend. How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
I'm going away for a couple weeks, so this is my last chance to talk draft. And
Okay.
Jim, I have no idea what the Baltimore Orioles are going to do with the number 1 overall pick. I know at one point you were leaning Jackson Holliday. Where are you at this point with what you think the Orioles might do?
I'm with you. I don't think anybody knows. I think, and I don't disagree with what they're doing. I mean, it's not in the Orioles' best interest to really show their hand. And I ran into Mike Elias at the draft combine. He said they're looking at 5 guys. They're going to continue to look at 5 guys. He declined to name the 5 guys.
Understandable.
I almost had him. I asked him, I said, how many high school guys in there? And he began to answer. He said, no, I'm not going to tell you. And I was like, okay, I get it. I actually switched up in my last mock, and I went with Termarr Johnson at number 1. Again, I don't think anybody knows, that has any degree of certainty who's going 1-1. But the reason I kind of went along those lines are, one, I've heard, and again, I mean, it's not like this is etched in stone, that I think they would prefer an infielder to an outfielder if it came down to it. They took outfielders with their last 2 picks in the top 5 with Heston Kjerstad and Colton Cowser. I don't think they're looking to do like a discount where you're sacrificing talent, like they did with Kjerstad and Cowser. Not that they aren't good players, but they, you were taking them in part because you were going to save a lot of money at 2 with Kjerstad and 5 with Cowser. More so than like you thought, Heston Kjerstad was flat out the second best player in the draft. I mean, like it's obvious that's what they were doing. And I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to take a legitimate guy who belongs at 1-1. But with Termarr Johnson, of the guys we believe they're looking at, which is, the top 4 high school players in the draft, Drew Jones, Jackson Holliday, Elijah Green, Termarr Johnson, and then maybe Brooks Lee from Cal Poly as the lone college guy, Termarr Johnson might last the longest in the draft, so you probably get the biggest discount with him without sacrificing talent, if that makes sense. So it's weird. I had this in my mock draft last week, and Orioles fans reacted very violently on Twitter. They were very unhappy.
Because everybody's convinced themselves that Drew Jones is, Ken Griffey Jr., and so you have to go get that guy. But the more I talk to people, the more I get the kind of the similar response that there's talent-wise just not that significant of a difference between whether it's Drew Jones or whoever, and say number 6 in this draft. That there's just not that much of separation.
There is and there isn't. I mean, he's not Adley Rutschman or Steven Strasburg or Bryce Harper. Drew Jones isn't. I do think he's a consensus best player in the draft. It's not like there's this gulf between him and everybody else. So I do think he is. And again, I'm just making up numbers here, so don't hold me to these numbers. I don't have signability. But that first pick is worth $8.8 million. And I think with Drew Jones might cost you 8.1, and Jackson Holiday might cost you 7.5, and Termarr Johnson might cost you more like 6.5. But like it's weird. Like, and I think because I presented this in my mock, everybody, like all the Orioles fans who looked at my mock, focused on the discount aspect, like, oh, they're doing this again and they're sacrificing talent. And Termarr Johnson probably has the best pure hitting ability of anybody in this draft. And I think he's going to be at least a 20 home run guy, and he might be more because he's a ridiculously good hitter, maybe the best high school hitter in the last 2 decades or so. And yeah, I mean he's a second baseman. He's not a shortstop. He's not real big. He's kind of he's not a bad athlete by any means, but he's kind of stout. He's not your typical lean, rangy middle infielder. And if you're looking for a kind of style of play comparison to him, he might be like a shorter Robinson Cano, and that would be a really good pick. Like if you were just picking purely based on talent, I think you take Drew Jones. But if you could take Termarr Johnson, who has a higher floor, and a high ceiling, but a lower ceiling than Jones, and maybe save an extra $1.5 million and then spend that money wisely, I think you can make a case for that.
I in fact, had it described to me recently by someone as it would almost be silly not to. And it's difficult, Jim, because what you heard from Orioles fans, we'll use these terms a lot. Don't get cute, right? Just get
that's fair.
Get that player. I guess the question will become, is one of these guys someone that there is a chance you really would regret? If you went the other way and said, let's prioritize saving money and adding more talent, is there one of these guys you look at and say, boy, I don't know, you might really think about this for the next 15 years if you don't draft that player?
No, I mean, like I said, I agree, don't get cute. Like, if you're going to put me on the witness stand and say, would you have taken Heston Kjerstad at 2?
Right.
I would not have taken Heston Kjerstad at 2, and I liked Heston Kjerstad. And I would not have taken Colton Cowser at 5, and I like Colton Cowser. And we've talked about on the show before, the guys that they targeted to get with the money they saved didn't get to their next pick. And so their plans kind of blew up a little bit. And that's the other half of the equation is, you can't guarantee last year when you want Judd Fabian in the second round, you can't guarantee that Judd Fabian gets to you in the second round. And then they took a slightly under slot guy and Connor Norby there and kind of sprinkled the money around, but they didn't go big. But no, like I said, I think this is different because if somebody told you, like, if you just we just talked description and no names and all that, and I said you could get the best hitter in the draft, in terms of pure hitting ability, and he's going to play up the middle. It's going to be second base, but he's going to play up the middle, and he's going to be at least a 20 home run guy. That's a really good player. But I think people get hung up with, hey, they're picking one. If they don't take, and again, going back to the original question, I'm not saying, oh, there's a 90% chance they're taking Termarr Johnson. It's just if you made me guess today, I'm going to guess Termarr Johnson. I know Jonathan Mayo has a mock draft coming out for us, I think tonight or tomorrow, and I think he's going Drew Jones at number 1.
Okay.
But so, like, nobody knows. Anybody who's doing a mock who tells you that they have certainty about what the Orioles are doing, they have no idea. But, like, this isn't a case where you're taking – and I like Jacob Berry of LSU. Like, there were rumors early on in the process that maybe they'd cut a deal with him. And, like, if you're taking Jacob Berry, who I think is probably the best combination of hit, power, plate discipline on the college side, but maybe an outfielder, good chance he might be a first baseman. Some would say DH. Like you're putting all your eggs in the basket that he's really going to hit. Like that, I would say, okay, well, that's kind of a stretch there. But like if you gave me I'm not putting this guy, in the Hall of Fame, but the comp I got from a scout on Termarr Johnson is combination of Wade Boggs' plate discipline with Vladimir Guerrero Sr.'s plate coverage.
Jesus.
And I'm telling you that,
Right.
kind of from a style of play, he resembles Robinson Cano.
I mean, come on.
That
Come
would be a
on,
pretty good pick to get at one.
Bro. Come on.
Well, no, we're not putting him in the Hall of Fame.
I
But
know,
he was just,
I know.
he was. I'm telling you, and again, I'm not saying this like nobody's can't miss.
Right.
But Termarr Johnson is probably the best hitter to come out. I'll put it this way. Like, when we talked about Adley Rutschman, that was 3 years ago. And it's like, Adley Rutschman's the best catching prospect, since when to come out of the draft. And it was probably, Buster Posey or whoever. And when I researched it was, he's probably the best catching prospect since I've been covering it, to come out of the draft. I can't give you Termarr Johnson is the best high school hitter, pure hitter since X, because I can't come up with a guy who's better than him. I mean, I'm not trying to put this guy in Cooperstown, but he's that good of a hitter. It's a really, really good bat. And, yeah, he's not a shortstop. And, yeah, he's probably not going to be a 30 home run guy. And, yeah, he's not, 6'2", 190, but he can really, really hit. And there aren't a whole lot of guys who can really, really hit in today's big leagues. So, again, I'm not saying I would take Termarr one. I would take Drew Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to figure out what I'm paying guys. But Termarr Johnson's really good. So if the Orioles do take him, it shouldn't be viewed as, oh, geez, they pushed this guy way up the list. He doesn't belong there. Termarr Johnson's a legitimate number one overall candidate. He probably costs you less than any of the legitimate number one overall candidates.
You're
to be honest,
keep the pitchforks in the
yeah,
garage.
Put them away. Yeah,
Right.
I will say last thing, and I don't give you the longest answer in recorded history. You asked me, is there anybody they'd regret? I really do like Brooks Lee. At Cal Poly. But Brooks Lee probably winds up at second base, too, in the long run. I don't think he's a lock for a shortstop. And he's got more track record because he's done it in college. But, that's kind of apples to apples. And, I think they'd cost roughly the same. And if that's the case, I would take Termarr over Brooks Lee.
Let me go back for a second. He is, by the way, Jim Callis. He's with us here in Glen Clark.
Longest answer ever on your show.
It's quite fine. It's quite fine. I interjected, too. I remember talking about this with you. It's interesting you brought up Jacob Berry. He was just on the program a couple seconds ago. He thinks that he can play third base, but what's he going to say when I ask him that question?
I agree.
Of course, right?
He might. I mean, I get asked that question a lot too, and I ask that question a lot. I'd say it's unlikely he plays third base. I don't see why he couldn't be a decent corner outfielder.
Okay.
But you want him to say what he said.
Right, of course.
That he'll work
Obviously.
hard and,
no
it's not just about the bat, and
right.
he takes pride in his defense, et cetera, et cetera.
So let me go here. I remember asking you the same question about Andrew Vaughn. We always kind of say you can't get a positionless bat when you have a pick this high. But what kind of bat are we really talking about? Because, if we were talking about Jeff Bagwell's bat or Frank Thomas's bat, then you sure as hell can take that this high in the draft. What kind of bat are we talking about with Jacob Berry?
It's funny you bring up Andrew Vaughn because the comp I got on him in the past was a switch hitting version of Andrew Vaughn. And I actually think I get scouts who disagree with me. I actually think he's like a switch hitting, slightly more athletic version of Andrew Vaughn, who isn't real athletic and who the White Sox have bounced around the outfield some out of need.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what they've done. And then I get guys like, I'm not sure he's a better athlete than Andrew Vaughn, but he's comparable. I mean, I think he's a switching Andrew Vaughn, and it's fun. I'm here in Chicago. Andrew Vaughn, not many minor league at-bats because of the pandemic, brought to the big leagues last year, kind of, I guess I'll say jerked around a little bit by Tony La Russa, in and out of the lineup early, playing positions he hadn't really played before. And fans are like, this is the number 3 pick. The guy just hit 235 with 15 homers. What's going on? And this year, he's been really, really good.
Yep.
I think you're looking at a similar player to Andrew Vaughn. Like I said, I think he's a switch hitting Andrew Vaughn, and I think he's got a better chance to play a decent outfield than Andrew Vaughn.
Okay.
Some scouts would disagree with me, but again, like you just said. If I have Jacob Berry, and I'll go conservative here because we don't want to put everybody in the Hall of Fame, but let's say I've got Jacob Berry, and I'm telling you he's going to hit 280 with 25 homers and draw 75 walks a year. Well, I mean, if that's my first baseman or DH, that's still a really good player.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird. Like, he gets knocked a little bit, I think, in the draft media circles, because of what he can't do. And I get that he's not, the most athletic, and, he's really not pretty at third base. But, again, regardless of position, most years, if you could get, I'd be happy if I were a team, if you said you could have, you identify who's the best combination of hit, power, plate discipline in college, and you can have that guy. I'd be happy with that most years.
I would be too. I would. I mean, again, the Orioles are in a tough spot because it seems like their biggest needs are still in the middle infield, right? Like, but I don't know.
You take the best player. I mean, again, there is a money component. Like I said, I understand wanting to make the best use of your resources. The flip side is you cannot guarantee who gets to you with your second pick. Now, I will now contradict myself again with saying this year's a really interesting draft because there are so many pitchers. I keep losing count if it's 8 or 9 or 10 who are potential first-round picks who either had Tommy John surgery or missed part of the season with a physical issue, who most of those guys are not going to go in the first round. So with your second pick, teams, and I believe the Orioles have a sandwich pick too, don't they?
Yes,
pick like 33?
They do. Yeah.
They pick 33 and then I think 42. And with those picks, I'm not saying they're going to do this with necessarily with either or both picks, but with both of those picks, you are going to have pitchers who, had they been completely healthy this year, would have been, not gotten anywhere close to those picks. So I do think this year, and look, the track record of Tommy John, guys coming back is pretty good, and some of these guys are back on the mound a little bit already. Like, you might be able to pick. Well, I shouldn't say. I think you definitely will have guys at pick 33 and 42 who would have been first-round picks for sure if they hadn't been hurt, and so you're in position to get some of the, the best case scenario is that you look up and 3 or 4 years down the road, it's Lucas Giolito or Walker Buehler, both of whom had Tommy John before they threw their first pro pitch. And so you might get a tremendous value. You might get a tremendous discount on talent with those picks. So I get the understanding of wanting to save money, and, it's tough. I mean, so who would you pick? Like, if I told you could have best player in the draft, Drew Jones, or you could have, say, Termarr Johnson and save $1.5 million that you can then reallocate elsewhere. Now, again, we don't know if you or I or Michael Elias is going to allocate that wisely when we look back 10 years. Like, which would you do?
Point, and by the way, Jim, what makes your point even stronger is that, as I say, where their biggest need is the middle infield. Well, their real biggest need is pitching. Like, that's overwhelming where their biggest need is. So it's a very compelling argument for that. I'm inclined, Jim, to be the guy that says, just tell me who the best player is and go get the best player.
I would be too, but I will admit, like, we should call Michael Elias up right now. We can have this discussion. It's easy for you and me to say that because we're not running a team and we're not, spending the money, and it's easy to make that statement. I do think, to be fair, it's tougher when you're looking at, okay, I can have Drew Jones, but then we project it's going to be this guy. But, hey, if we took Termarr Johnson, who's got, a lot of going for him, and then we can upgrade to this guy, it's kind of like you're making trades, except you don't really know for sure who's going to get there until you pick. It's tough. And like I said, I thought they got, I'll say it. I mean, I understand what they were doing, and I don't think either play was bad. I mean, I think they were both legitimate picks. I would not have taken Heston Kjerstad at 2, and I would not have taken Colton Cowser at 5, but I would be on board with the notion of taking Termarr Johnson at 1. I know that in the vacuum, just like you said, I would take Drew Jones. If you're asking me, you have any player, I would take Drew Jones 1-1. But if I'm in the room making this decision, Mike has not called me up and asked me to be part of the decision. But if he did,
me either.
What do you think? But if he did, I'd be like, I could get on board with both of them. A lot of it would be kind of gaming who you think's going to be there. But this year, I feel pretty good. Like, maybe I get Peyton Pallette. Maybe I get Landon Sims. Maybe I don't know what to make of Kumar Rocker until he sees medicals. But there's a lot of guys in that boat. Maybe I get Carson Wisnant. those guys would all be really intriguing to me at picks, 33 and 42.
Well, and this goes back. The other side of this is, like, it's easy for me to say, just go sign your pitcher this offseason. Just go address pitching that way. But he might know that's not an option. Like,
well, the thing that's tough, too, about that is, and I know you're not saying this, but, like, back in the day, it used to rankle me, Baseball Prospectus had there's no such thing as a pitching prospect, which isn't really true because a lot of the best pitchers in the major leagues were high picks or international guys or whatever. But the problem is, it's so much more. I mean, yeah, you might have to, take pitchers, and there's attrition, and you could spend a lot of money on pitchers, and they aren't all going to pan out. But that's a lot cheaper than going out and trying to sign guys on the free agent market. And that's even if you can get the guys you want in the free agent market, because there's other teams, bidding for them too. It's a lot cheaper. Garrett Cole for a long time held the bonus record, but that was $8 million, and that was a lot cheaper than what the Yankees wound up paying him as a free agent.
That's a fact. That's a complete fact.
So that's the tricky part.
Yep.
Like you can't. Like, I'll even give you another. Like the Cubs, I don't think anybody doubts that Theo Epstein's heading to the Hall of Fame with what he did with the Red Sox and the Cubs. And when they were the Cubs, they were drafting when they had all these top 10 picks. Most years they were taking the best college bat available. They took Albert Almora one year, but they took the best college bat available. And everybody's like, oh, look at the smart Cubs. They've built this great lineup. Blah blah blah. Well. The dynasty that I'll admit, I thought they were going to win multiple World Series and be stoked for years because they had all this young hitting talent. They never got any good pitching, and every year they got a little worse. And now their team's in a shambles, rebuilding again. So it's tricky because you don't want to. Yes, it's risky drafting pitchers with high picks and drafting high school pitchers and what have you. But it's also a lot cheaper to get the guys that way. And if you don't take them in the draft, like good luck trading for these guys. Once they become, they have success in the minors and they get established as top pitching prospects.
Yep.
And they're under control for 6 years in the big leagues. They're very hard to trade for. And just like if you become an ace, then it's a lot of prospects or a free agent. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. So yes, there is risk, but the whole notion that some people have of like, oh, you can't take pitching high because it's too risky. Well, then you're just never going to have pitching, unless you just are the luckiest man in the world.
It's a very scary thought because we're worried. We're hoping that Grayson's going to be fine. And John,
if it makes you feel better, when you look at the Astros rebuild, like a lot of their pitchers, like they weren't loaded with pitching prospects either, and they did a great job of bringing guys in from the outside who got better, like Charlie Morton.
But they had to go heavy for Justin Verlander too.
Yeah, well, no, I was going to say they had the prospect talent. They went out and traded for Verlander and Cole and Zach Greinke.
Yep.
And they made Morton was kind of that sneaky good free agent move, but it's not like when they signed they realized like, oh, difference maker. They're going to win a World Series because of Charlie Morton. I think the only guy they really drafted and signed that they hit kind of big on, and he's hurt all the time, is Lance McCullers.
That's a great point. God, that's a great point.
I don't get down about the lack of pitching. Pitching's hard to find, but they did it before. And if you keep building up the farm system, then eventually you can go trade for. They're not in a position where I think you want to trade for say Luis Castillo today because they're not ready to contend really.
No.
But I think they're going to have prospect depth to be able to trade for some guys too.
All right, let's get the plugs in. At Jim Callis MLB, of course, on Twitter. What specifically should be looking out for on MLB Pipeline and at MLB.com?
This might be our craziest time of the year.
Yeah.
So the draft is coming. The draft is 17 days away, I believe, as we're talking right now. And we just put out a new draft top two. We expanded and revised our draft rankings and scouting reports. That just went up live on our site. I mentioned Jonathan May will have a new mock draft tomorrow. We have a mock draft every week. And, by the way, we're covering the minor leagues. The Futures game is coming. That roster announcement will be out sometime next week. I've lost track when because of the draft. So we're basically doing 8 million different things, it feels like right now, because that's just the way baseball is right now.
And still making time for everybody to do interviews, and that means a lot to me, Jim Callis.
Well, you guys always ask great questions. So
wait until we try to bug you the morning after the draft, by the way, and you get that phone call.
Well, that's not going to work because I have to do day 2 of the draft for like 6 or 8
that's right. You guys
straight.
have coverage. Yeah, that's a good point.
So you will not be able to reach me.
We'll
my
somebody
phone
else.
will be off.
Don't blame you for that. Jim, always appreciate you, sir. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Yeah, this
we'll
was
talk
fun.
soon.
Thanks a lot.
Jim Callis. who's always been good to us. I appreciate him taking the time. We're going to have to just keep moving right along, unfortunately. We'll get to the commercials another day. Play them then. Today's show also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, sporty performance, and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today. This is the final show we're doing before the MLB draft. What will the Orioles do, you ask? I don't know. I don't know. Boy, Jim is really selling me on Tamar Johnson, isn't he? Jesus. Oh, yeah, he's just this amalgamation of Wade Boggs, Vladimir Guerrero, and Robinson Cano. Okay. I guess that'll work. Jesus. He's trying to sell me high on the idea of Tamar Johnson being worthy of the number 1 overall pick in the MLB draft. Whew. I get it. You got to find pitching somewhere. This organization has to find pitching. They don't have enough. They just don't. They don't have enough pitching. So they got to find it. It's got to come from somewhere. Whether that's coming from making these trades, eventually spending money, okay. But in their mind, if they say the best way for us to find pitching is for us to save some money, get a really good player at number 1 overall, and then take a pitcher next, I don't know if I can argue with it. All right, pretty unique event coming up here in just a couple of weeks out in Las Vegas. It's the brainchild of Tracy McGrady. It's the Ones Basketball League. And there's $250,000 at stake for a basketball player. And one of the guys who's going to be competing for that money is a native of Baltimore. He is Parkville's own Mr. Terry Hosley, and he's with us now here on GCR. Terry, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes for me.
Hey, good morning, man. Pleasure, man. Pleasure to be here, man. Appreciate it.
It's great to chat with you, dude. Can you just sort of take me through when you heard about this event, how quickly you knew I can do this, this is meant for me, and how amped up you are to be getting an opportunity like this at this point in your basketball life?
Oh, man. Everybody knows me. They know I own my own one-on-one league called the Free Smoke Tour. So I guess when they figured out they was coming to this area, they came to the DMV area for one of the regions. One of his assistants called me, Samantha, great woman. She's a hard worker. She keeps all the players together, keep us in line. So shout out to Samantha. But she called me, she expressed what was going on, what was taking place. And the first thing I asked was about the rules. And when she told me the rules, I was like, yeah, I can win this.
So what did you need to know about the rules, Terry? What was it?
Because I asked, was it a size bracket? I can end up. I'm 6 feet 6'1", 175 pounds.
Yeah.
I can end up playing somebody that's 6'7", 250 pounds.
That's
so
tough.
What I asked would that be a situation? She said, well, unfortunately, yeah, there's no size bracket. So then I said, okay, so what's the rules? So when they told me the rules, it's not make it, take it, it's ones and twos, unlimited dribbles, a shot clock, and all that thing. So I said, okay, yeah, I can win this. Yeah, I felt super confident right away since I heard the rules.
So did you know anybody else who was participating? Did you have a sense of
I know White Chocolate, Randy from Montgomery County.
Yeah. I
know SpongeBob. Both of them great friends of mine. SpongeBob is from Southeast DC. I know Uncle Scoob. That's one of my one-on-one rivals. He's from PG County, and I know Sam McConnell. He played on my on the pro team that we played on together for the DMV Warriors.
Okay.
Other than that, I didn't know anybody else.
So this wasn't I needed to find out who else was participating, then I can make a decision. You just knew based on.
Oh no, yeah, that didn't matter. That didn't matter regardless.
You're like
what I can do, what I'm going to do.
You're good, man. So what? Give me the idea for someone. I think everybody that's played basketball loves the idea of one-on-one, but at this highest level, how does it work for you? What do you have to be able to do in order to win an event like this?
You got to be able to not get tired, before your opponent does, right? And you just got to have the mental. Like, a lot of people think one-on-one is all about, scoring the basketball and just, dribbling and, just embarrassing your opponent or whatever the case may be. But you got to have the mental. Like, your mental got to be correct. You got to be locked in. You got to, see me, I'm locked in. I'm locked in already. So I see the bigger prize. And I know for a fact that I've been through a lot and I have an amazing story and I had somewhat of a sad story depending on who's listening. But I do know out of the other 21 players that's left besides me, they've been through things as well. They deserve this just as much as I do. So you can't walk in thinking, well, I deserve it, so I know it's going to come to me. Nah, you got to look at it like every single person deserves it just as much as you. They're locked in just as much as you. So let's see who's actually better on this weekend. So
find out more about the One Basketball League and the event. It's coming up out in Vegas on July 15th and 16th. You can go to oblhoops.com. Terry Hosley is with us here on GCR. Terry, what is I don't know your story. What is your story? What's driving you?
Well, I've just been known for one-on-one basketball, just like across the country per se, but more so East Coast.
Yep.
Just like mistakes I made in my life, it disabled me for, going overseas and, things like that. So, I've been stuck here in Baltimore City, building my legacy and building my credentials and building my resume just like on the street per se. And my one-on-one record, I'm 29-1, and my one-on-one record, so and by me having a one-on-one league, the Free Smoke Tour, a lot of guys come play on the Free Smoke Tour. A lot of guys that's in the OBL going to Vegas, when they see me, they like, oh yeah, we follow, your Free Smoke Tour movement, we fans and yada yada yada. And just my city just being behind me, man. They just they recognize me as quote unquote the best one-on-one basketball player in our city as far as guard wise. That's what most people say. Of course other people have their opinion, but I'm saying that's what they just try to announce me as. So, they behind me, and a lot of these guys are way younger than me. So, they just here to see me, put on the show. I got my family, I got my friends, and I'm just, and I got my city, man. I got myself. And I know what I would do with this change of a lifetime opportunity. So that's what motivates me
that's
every
awesome,
day.
Man.
That's
awesome.
Show just how great I am at one-on-one, because I do believe I am great. I do believe I am the greatest one-on-one player that's in the tournament left. But I just got to show it. I just got to be the best of my ability that weekend. I can't slip up at all. So.
All right. I want to just have a fun hypothetical with you. You win. You got the $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
Then Tracy McGrady says, double or nothing, you versus me.
Me versus T-Mac?
Yeah.
Double or nothing. So if I lose, I walk away with nothing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll just shake his hand and say, that's okay. Yeah, I gotta walk out there with that 250. You know what I mean?
Bro, I get it.
Hey, look, we could put 20. Look, we could put 20 up, maybe. But, yeah.
Right. You can put a piece of that.
No, I'm okay.
I get that entirely. Dude, he's 43, but I still wouldn't be able to doubt him. I just wouldn't be.
He's 6'9".
Right.
Look, unless we play and he get no dribbles. All his shots got to be. He can't dribble, and then we can do it.
Yeah, okay. And then you can just appear a shooter. Then you take your chances on that. I totally understand it, man.
Other than that, I ain't fooling with Tracy. You can have it.
Is there somebody that you have in your life, whether even it's just maybe hanging out at the Dome or something like that? Is there somebody that you've maybe not beat one-on-one in a game, but just gone up against, scored against, that's in the basketball world meant the most to you?
When I played Brandon Jennings one-on-one,
okay,
that was a big moment for me. Just and that weekend that we played, I actually met him, played him. I met Kemba Walker, I met DeAndre Jordan, I met Vasquez that went to Maryland.
Gravis Vasquez, yeah.
Yeah, I met him. You know, I met a lot of the Armor guys. You know, and it's just like, yeah, this man, just basketball, just have taken me so many places and gave me countless opportunities. You know, I try my best to always take advantage of them, and here I am again. So
that's awesome, man. Well, we're gonna be rooting like hell for you. I want to remind everybody it's oblhoops.com to find out more about the finals coming up in Vegas, and you can watch as well. And then Terry, what can we plug for you, man? Social media, anything like that?
Yeah, man. Social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. It's just my name, Terry Hosley, TerryHosley. And you can follow the Free Smoke Tour page on Instagram. That's free_smoke_tour_.
Very cool.
So.
Terry Hosley, so excited for you, man. Please go get the job. Bring our city home another championship. All right.
I got to bring the chip back home.
That's what we got to do, man. Thank you for taking the time for us. Best of luck. All right.
All right, man. Thanks for having me, man. You take care.
Terry Hosley joining us as he gets ready to head out to Vegas for the OBL, the One Basketball League Finals, here in a couple of weeks with $250,000 at stake. All right, when we come back in, we're going to do the world's quickest version of Young Utes, Tidbit Tubular. I mean, we're going to fly through it. Probably not, but we're going to do our damnedest. And then we got Weekend at Bookies. It's on the way. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Come in for Glory Burgers, Glory Wings. There's glory for everyone at Glory Days Grill. Enjoy our award-winning burgers, ribs, and wings, or try our fresh salads, hand-cut salmon, or our scrumptious sandwiches. Yum! Come in for our daily specials every weekday, like $7.99 burgers on Mondays and $6.99 nachos on Thursdays. Dine in and let us serve you, or order online at glorydaysgrill.com and take it home. Visit us at glorydaysgrill.com for a location near you. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
Are you ready, soccer fans? This summer, the English Premier League returns to Baltimore. Arsenal, Everton, square off in the Charm City match, July 16th, under the lights at M&T Bank Stadium, home of the Baltimore Ravens. This is your only opportunity to take in a Premier League match this summer in the Mid-Atlantic region. Individual and group tickets are on sale at BaltimoreRavens.com.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now, and it's our very first Salute the Coaches issue. On the cover, we recognize Ravens coach John Harbaugh ahead of his 15th season. Also inside, find tributes to Navy football coach Ken Niumatalolo, UMBC soccer coach Pete Caringi, Maryland soccer coach Sasho Sorovsky, and field hockey coach Missy Maharg, Mount St. Joe basketball coach Pat Clatchy, and Poly basketball coach Kendall Peace. We also honor recently retired Johns Hopkins lacrosse coach Janine Tucker and Calvert Hall baseball coach Lou Eckerl, the athletes whose lives these coaches have impacted, offering insights on what makes them special and why they've stood the test of time. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition, as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets every Tuesday morning at 11:40. FanDuel Sportsbook GM Leon Twyman and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and offer you a few winners. And every other Thursday at 11:40, tune in for Weekend at Bookies as Andrew Stecca and Alloy Sports' Brad Kronthal help make you some money for the weekend. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline. Don't forget that full episodes of the show are available for free on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and YouTube. But warning, you get what you pay for. You're listening to Glenn Clark Radio.
Coming up tonight on Facebook Live, Stan the Fan Charles, Gary Stein. Going to chat with author D.P. Smith III. His book, The Golden Arm Gentleman, is all about Johnny Unitas. They're going to find out more about what D.P. Smith III has learned about, Baltimore icon. That's tonight, 7 o'clock on Facebook Live, facebook.com/PressBoxSports. If you miss it tonight, you can watch it tomorrow, youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. Young Utes. Carson Weekly brings us what's going on in the world of the Utes, brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms and at the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. Read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Our Salute to Coaches issue with John Harbaugh on the cover. Go get it right now.
All right, Young Utes, let's do this. So, first thing up, if you're familiar with Despicable Me, there's a new movie, Minions: Rise of the Gru, coming out this Friday.
My children will probably want me to take them to see it.
And it's for some reason, it's a big thing. People are supposedly going to be getting dressed up really nice, like dresses, suits, and things, like people my age, and going to see this movie. It's like a big thing that people are talking about.
Why?
Because it's a big deal?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Just kind of a bit.
Is there like a hashtag, like
not really.
dressed to the nines for the Minions or something?
It's
like
what?
what?
It's just like it's all over TikTok, and it's like a bunch of dudes and dudes, and it's like the boys going to see Minions this Friday.
By the way, I love it in theory. I needed to be known. I told Papa Cass that she wanted.
There you go.
Oh, I did. I've seen. Yeah.
And I have a video that I can.
I told Papa Cass that like she was talking about wanting to. Sure, she was talking about wanting to go to a Bridgerton ball, and I was like, for your last day of your internship, if you find me something, we can do a Bridgerton theme. We'll do it. I'll do it because I'm all in on the bit, but I don't know why it exists. But God bless them. God bless them. Go put your suits on and go see your Minions. Number 2, quickly.
R. Kelly, the
30 years, good.
30 years.
Number 3.
Yesterday. TikTok trend, another one. Balsamic vinegar and soda water tastes like Coke, and all the healthy people on TikTok are trying to convince everyone that they're substituting that in for Coke because they taste the same. And
I don't miss Coke, but I'd be willing to try it.
I haven't seen this one.
I haven't had a Coke in also about 20 years. That's 17 years, something. No, when did I move to Arizona? I stopped drinking soda when I lived in Arizona. So 14, 15 years, something like that. I haven't had a soda other than ginger ale. I do drink ginger ale from time to time. But I would be willing to try it just to say these people are insane. There's just no way.
Yeah,
there's no chance.
Have you tried it?
No, but like these are the people that are like the avocado toast kind of people.
Okay, so like they're.
So
it doesn't taste. It doesn't taste like Coke. It's just this is what we're telling you as our substitute for Coke. This is like when somebody tries to tell you that a veggie burger tastes like a burger. No, it doesn't.
True.
It's fine. I had an Impossible Burger. Mike Loxley threw a barbecue a few years ago, and they served Beyond or Impossible or whatever it was burgers, and he was like, they're not that bad. You should try one. I'm like, all right, I'll try one. And I was like, you know what? It's not. You're not eating a burger. You know damn well you're not eating a burger. But for what it is, it's fine. And that's what this comes off as to me. It's not actually a soda replacement,
right?
But it's something. And for them, it's like when somebody tries to tell you you can just have cauliflower wings instead of wings.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
stop. They're not wings. They're cauliflower. Cauliflower is tasty. Buffalo cauliflower is really good. Enjoy them, but stop lying. Stop trying to say like, well, this is just as good as. No, it's not. It's a different thing. It's fine. It's tasty. Enjoy that. All right, I've gotten old man yells at cloud. Thank you, Carson Weekly. I appreciate. I know we had to go quickly. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We also have to go quickly on Tidbit. Tidbit brought to you by Glory Days Grill. We're going to be there basically every day once we move into Towson. GloryDaysGrill.com is the website. They are giving away a backyard barbecue for you and your friends, including Glenn, maybe Griffin, and I guess Carson Weekly if he's got nothing else to do. Get in right now, GloryDaysGrill.com, and put your order in. Glory Burgers, Glory Ribs, Glory Wings. It's all glorious at Glory Days Grill.
All right, Zach Greinke made his 500th career start yesterday. That is the most among active pitchers. So I was going to ask you about, who else among active pitchers is.
Did we get him did we send like a fruit basket, or what did we do? What did we do? It's the appropriate thing for us to do. We should do a better job.
Edible arrangements.
I think we, as an organization, should do a better job of showing respect. You guys didn't watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I watched a little bit of it. I don't watch it religiously.
There's this famous episode of them all individually going to dinner at an Italian restaurant, and they all talk about how they need to show their respect to each other by like sending over a bottle of wine or something like that. And I think we as an organization should do a better job randomly. Like we should find very random accomplishments, and we should try to do something to show our respects to those people achieving those things.
Exactly.
I'm gonna put you in charge, but only because Carson is only here weekly.
Okay.
Carson, I want you to do a better job of getting involved in this process. All right. I want you to find random accomplishments and say, I think we should do something to recognize and honor that person.
All right.
All right. Very good.
I got it.
Quick.
Okay, yeah, so I was going to ask,
I said quick. I've just spent 30 minutes wasting time. All right, go.
Who else actively is up there? But it was pretty much the same as that question I had last week about the strikeouts. So I want to know, among Orioles pitchers, who has started the top 5 Orioles pitchers who have started the most
games ever. Messina.
Messina is up there. He is
Palmer.
number 5. Palmer, number 1, 521.
How about
Palmer.
Dave McNally?
That was going to be my next guess.
Are you looking? You're looking at it.
No.
Okay.
I'm looking at
Cuellar.
Cuellar is 6.
Flanagan.
3rd, 328. Don't act too excited.
Mike Boddicker.
Boddicker
I'd say it's probably not
like
Boddicker.
10th-ish. Can't count very quickly, so
he
has 180 for Boddicker.
God, I really don't know who the other one is. All right, Erickson, Dobson,
Pappas.
That's not bad.
Might be on there.
Steve Barber.
No, not Steve Barber.
That's a good
Steve Barber
guess.
is like 10th.
Ben McDonald.
No, not Ben McDonald. It is
Chris Tillman.
You want it? Chris Tillman's 11th.
Okay.
205 for Tillman.
Just
Scott
tell me.
McGregor.
Damn it!
Oh yeah.
Should have gotten that.
Kind of
That's
and
stupid.
kind of sad. Only
This is SVP.
Oh, hi, SVP. Settle down over there. All right. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know what's happening. Maybe get off that website.
I guess it doesn't matter.
All right, let's move on.
In the last 30 years, there's only been 2 pitchers that have even started more than 200 games for the Orioles. Kind of sad. Tillman, Sidney Ponson, and
that's
Musino.
not Ponson. That's not that surprising. Yeah. All right, Totally Tubular brought to you by All America Lacrosse. Get your tickets right now for the premier high school lacrosse game of the year. The 17th annual All-America Lacrosse Boys and Girls Senior Game will be Saturday, July 30th at Johns Hopkins Historic Homewood Field. This is your chance to see future lacrosse stars up close and in person as they showcase why they're the best in the world. Go to allamericalacrosse.com and get your tickets. Now, let's just be honest. There's not a lot going on. ESPN Plus for all the women's World Championship action today. Stranger Things tomorrow. That is a big deal, obviously. Oh, Only Murders.
Practical Jokers.
Did you mention Only Murders yesterday when it came back?
Oh, no, I didn't.
You jerk.
I had it in the write-up.
I don't even love Only Murders, but I know it's very popular. Yeah. It's fine. It's a fine show to me.
My friend mentioned it to me yesterday, and I was like, you know what that is?
And Wimbledon continues right now. And that's what you need to know. My intent is that through next week, we'll continue to do tubular updates. The week that we're away, just forget it. I'm on a boat. Take a good... All right, am so that's not... You guys...
I did not get that.
God damn, you are so young. All right, anyway.
What was the reference?
Lonely Island.
Oh, that was a
I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat.
Don't know that one.
Oh, jeez.
Because I do feel pretty familiar with Lonely Island. Lonely Island's
God. All right. Thanks today. Oh, Carson, your social is
at Carson Ware on everything.
That's with an I.
That's right. Follow us on TikTok too.
That's right. Well, I'm going to get to that. Settle down. Keep it in your pants. Thanks today to Terry Hosley. Thanks to Jim Callis, Jacob Berry. We'll get all of it up in the greatest hits section of the art. Oh, yeah, you do that part of the archive tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Coming up tomorrow, nothing. It's going to be a while. We'll see you on the 18th. Jeremy Conn will join us. We'll recap the MLB draft. That's what we're doing on the 18th. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Glory Days Grill, Royal Farms, the Charm City Match, Great 8's Memorabilia, the FanDuel Sportsbook, Live Casino and Hotel, All-America Lacrosse, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Thanks to Ryan at RexPex Ryan. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And TikTok, Carson, at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great next couple of weeks. Go Birds. Go whoever else is playing in that time. There's a lot going on for 2.5 weeks.
USA Lacrosse?
Yes, go USA Lacrosse. Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks too. If you're with us on video, give us a minute. We'll be back. If you're with us on audio, do nothing. Weekend at Bookies is coming.